Hello.
Hi guys, happy Thursday.
We're live.
You
And
know
it's
what
Frankie
time it
Shayne
is.
and Katie Lane. We're here with another prospecting call.
That's right.
Prospecting live. Sorry.
That's right. Coming at
I'm
you live.
Still stuck in the old days where these were conference calls, but no, they're now live.
That is right.
Facebook Live.
Yeah,
So
they can see us.
yeah.
How cool is that?
Like right now. You guys are we're really here and you're really there.
Yeah.
So tonight what we wanted to talk about was something that I've been experiencing in my years of training people. Even recently, this has come up, and I was doing some calling myself the other day, and it just reminded me of something that I take for granted because I've been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is called "Don't Freak Out."
Oh.
So, okay, because here's the thing: people get into these businesses, any business. Of this type. And the first thing you hear people talk about is I need good leads. I need a lead source. I need to get leads in front of me so I can sign people up, so I can get people buying the product, so I can get some revenue, so I can get some commission going. Here's the thing. So many times people say that, and they know that that is a big part of the equation. You cannot catch the fish if they aren't biting on the bait.
Right.
Okay. But the thing is, once you hook the fish, now what?
Right.
Okay. And so many times people literally kind of have a freak out moment and they call us, well, I have these responses. What do I do? What do I do? They answered my postcard, or they responded to my Facebook ad, or they responded to a magazine ad I placed, or they responded to a flyer I put out. What do I do? What do I do? Okay. So we're going to break it down very simply. Okay. I'm literally going to take you through the steps that I go through when I'm prospecting someone, when I'm following up on someone. We're going to get into different kinds of scenarios because I know it's not always going to be the same. But I've got points that we're just going to go through, not really points, but steps that you go through in prospecting, because people have a tendency to blow it out to where it's like we spoke that one time, the first time you ever made a call, even as just calling a distributor that's already in and you don't know them. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. People are like, they just freeze.
What if I don't say the right words, or what if they answer?
Yeah, it's like people are scared to death to hear someone actually pick up.
Yeah.
I've actually been with people that call someone, and the minute the person picks up, they hang up because
I think I've done that.
Yeah, because they're too scared. They're like, and finally they pick up and they freak out because they're like, it's nerve-wracking. Yeah. So this is called "Don't Freak Out" because that's something that very commonly happens.
Right.
And it's not a big deal if you do, and if if you're that person that hangs up when they pick up, and then try to,
probably in the majority.
Yeah, you probably are, especially if this is your first go around in this. Now, if you're a veteran, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, this been there, done that, come on, snowflake, all this stuff. Well, that's fine. This may not be for you tonight then. This is for the people, because there's a lot of them right now who are trying something different, who are doing something new. And now that they're gung-ho, they're motivated, they're ready to go, and they have leads, now it's reality.
Right.
It's like, I'm doing this. And so when you get to that point, you've got to figure out, what do I do?
What?
Yeah. What's next? Okay. So I want to take you through some, just again, a lot of this is going to be very kindergartenish. It's going to be for those of you who've been in the industry. For those of you who are new to this, just jot these little points down, or come back and watch this again and write it down when you've got more time. But I'm just going to run through some of these. Some of these we're going to go really fast because it's literally step by step. So the first thing you want to do before you pick up that phone, before you call that person back, take a breath.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, just take a moment, take a breath, get your mind prepared. Think about the fact that I'm going to make this call. These people have already responded to something that I've advertised, so it's not as cold of a call as what you think it is.
Right.
Okay, they've already responded. That's why you are calling them back, is because they've responded saying, yes, I'm interested.
Right. Give me more.
Give me more information. Yeah. I want more. So first thing is just to take a breath and prepare your mind. And preparing your mind is like we just said, it's just reminding yourself that this is not an unsolicited call.
Right.
This is not, and even though you may have to chase them because everyone has caller ID.
Yes.
And if they don't remember the
silence.
number they dialed and they see you calling back, they may be freaking out like, oh,
Right.
it's a robocall, it's a bill collector, it's whatever. Okay. So prepare your mind in knowing that you're calling this person back. Okay. The second thing is contact them, make the call.
Yeah.
If they don't have a call and it's an email, write the email. If it's on Messenger through Facebook, message them. Okay.
Make contact.
Make contact. That's as simple as it gets. When they respond and say, hey, I'm interested, give me some more information, then your response after you've taken a breath and you've said, okay, let's do this.
Deliver.
Deliver. Very well. Look at this. She's like an old pro. Okay. Okay. The next thing you do once you've contacted them is, oh, this is probably the hardest thing. And it's very technical. It's probably the biggest thing people mess up. Just introduce yourself.
Oh.
Just tell them who you are. Tell them why you're calling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's hard.
Right. It's tough. But the thing is sometimes the minute people answer, you freeze. You don't remember your own name sometimes. You don't remember why you're calling because they're like, hello. Hello. Okay. Where do you go from there? Well, you introduce yourself. It's common courtesy.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you suggest that they introduce themselves?
I'm glad you asked that. That wasn't even in my notes, but I'm glad you did. Okay. So here's the thing. When I call people, and now keep in mind, I'm doing a lot of cold calling. A lot of mine are cold call lists because
maybe give both.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you both. Okay.
Nice.
On a cold call list, typically what I do is I, within the first few lines, say who I am, who I'm with, and why I'm contacting them. Okay. Cold calling, that's very important because they can hang up on you in a second. And I've had a few of those even recently. People had a guy the other day, it was quite funny. I call him and his name, his first name, last name, no indication whatsoever of having any type of ethnic background whatsoever. But when I call and I introduce myself, he didn't say anything when I first got on. I said, hello. I think his name was Alistair or something like that. Hello, Alistair. This is Shayne. Hola. And I go, yeah, this is Shayne. I was calling about the information. Hola, 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 click. And he just hung up. Okay. I just wrote it off, moved on to the next one. Not a big deal. But here's the thing. Some people don't understand why you're calling.
Right.
They don't remember. Some people have responded to several things. So don't prepare your mind that it's not an unsolicited call, but understand also they may have reached out to several different companies. So you still may be, how do they say, just another egg in the basket. Okay. So, but when you do a cold call, what I typically would say was, because most cold calls have been surveyed. Okay. So they're people who have shown interest, not necessarily to your opportunity or your product, but they've shown interest. So with those people, I say, hi, this is Shayne. I'm with Professional Networkers. Recently, you responded to a survey where you had said that you were interested in building a home-based business or building a business from home. And what I wanted to do is just take a few moments of your time and see if our company is a good fit for you. That's it.
I like that.
Okay. And then from there, people say yes or no, or I'm not looking anymore. That's usually my next question. I'd say, see if we're a good fit for you. Are you still currently looking? Because sometimes people are quick to the draw and they answer the first person that calls. I may not be the first person.
Right.
Even though these leads are fresh, I could still be the 10th guy to call them.
Right.
So always ask them that. And then it puts the ball in their court, takes pressure off of you. You're not pressuring them. You're not saying buy or die. It's none of that type of thing. You're asking them, are you looking still?
Right.
And then people either say yay or nay. I had one the other day said, well, yeah, I'm looking. What do you got?
Nice.
So that gives me a chance to go into my opportunity. And we'll get into that in just a moment too. Now, if you're calling someone who's responded to something specific, you've placed an ad, let's say in one of the multi-level marketing magazines or in a health magazine or on a local magazine, local paper, and someone has called you and left you a message saying, hello, Shayne, I'm interested in your opportunity. I've got your ad here and I'd like to know more information. When I call them back, it's kind of the same thing, but you just change the source. Say, hey, this is Shayne, just giving you a call. You had responded to my ad that I placed in X magazine or whatever. Right. And just want to get back to you. want to give you the information you had. Is now a good time for you? Always ask them if it's a good time. Early on, what I would do is once I got over the fear of calling them, once I got them on, I felt like, here's my chance.
Right.
I have to give them everything. And I wouldn't even stop long enough to ask them if they had time. And I had some people hang up on me. Obviously, it was my fault because I should have asked. Other people have said, when I finally take a chance to breathe,
right.
they say, this all sounds interesting, but this is really not a good time. Could you call me back some other time?
Right.
So that's a simple thing. Just say, is now a good time for you? If not, what's a good time to call you back?
Right.
It's okay to establish that. So those are the two different scenarios. One, in a cold call, you're looking at a survey. So you want to reference the survey. You want to reference the fact that they may not have responded directly to you. That's why you don't look or sound familiar to them.
Right.
But they're looking for something and you're responding to that.
Right.
Okay. When they are responding to something specific, you recall to them what it was they responded to.
Right.
And that's who I am. That's why I'm calling. It's
And
very simple. You just want to identify yourself with them.
You could even include like call back, like I'm giving you a call back.
Yeah.
Because
that's also as well.
I feel like if I'm listening to a voicemail and someone says, I'm calling you back, I'm like, oh, I forgot I reached out to them.
Right. Yeah.
Like that type of thing. I also thought that even a product lead, you could introduce yourself as an affiliate with an immune system company,
right.
an immune system research company out of Utah.
Exactly.
And they were someone who were surveyed and expressed interest in nutritional products. Right. So you were just wondering if they are looking for something that can support their immune system, that type of thing.
Exactly. It all falls under the same thing, is identify who yourself, introduce yourself and why you're calling, because people want to know. There's a lot of robocalls. We get them, you get them, everyone gets them. We get sick of them. You get numbers that are not people that you know.
Right.
They call you 5 times a day, and and you check the messages, and either they don't leave a message or they leave something that's clearly makes it out that it's a robocall.
I do have a follow-up question.
Yes. As
a 4Life affiliate, what words could they use? Like, because with product, you could say, I'm an affiliate with an immune system company out of Utah, focusing on the product side of things. As an affiliate with 4Life, how could they say, I'm an affiliate with a company called 4Life. We're the top.
Generally, that type of thing. You kind of give a little bit of accolades that the company has. What I've found is really effective is to say, I'm with a company called 4Life Research. We're the leaders in immune system products in the industry. We've been in the industry since 1998. I always mention that because there's a lot of companies out there that you'll receive calls from that they've only been on the market 6 months. Right. They've only been there a year. So people are finally starting to learn that just because something's hot and new now doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be hot and new later.
Right.
Now there are some things you want to jump on when it's hot and then just ride the wave, and then it burns it. You make what money you can and get out. Okay. I know some people are of that mentality, but when people can see that a company has been around and is established, especially if they're just now hearing about this company is 20-some years old, it's different than if 20 years ago they heard about them and they thought the company had died out, and then they hear about them again. Right. If the company's been there and they're like, wow, you've been around 23 years, been in the industry. Yeah, we've been successful. That's what I usually start with, is like, we're 4Life, we're the immune system company. We've been around for 23 years. We've going on 24 this year. I began to introduce the achievements and things about the company that stand out.
Okay, so one thing that I feel like they should focus on, which maybe you have this in your notes, is before you call, make sure that you have some sort of script or something.
Right.
And
That's
points.
in there. Yeah.
Okay, it is in your notes?
Yeah. We don't have to cover it now, though.
Never mind.
No, go ahead.
Stay tuned.
Because that was way down.
Okay.
But yeah, that is something. You want to make sure that you have an idea of what you're going to say and kind of where you're going to go with things. Okay. When I brought it into the points, it's more about asking questions. Because once you've established hello and they haven't hung up on you, they're interested, then you go into kind of a probing kind of a phase, because now you need to find out how you need to give the presentation. Right. You don't want to just, you don't want to just go on there and just blurt everything out. Yeah. So the next thing you want to do is you want to, once you've gotten them on the phone, once you've explained why you're calling, whether it was a magazine ad, postcard, survey, whatever, then you ask about their interest in the business. What was it about the ad, or what was it about the postcard? What was it about whatever that drew you to call me back?
Right.
Was it the products? Was it the business opportunity? Was it a little bit of both? And from the questions, from their answers, you can then begin to focus your presentation to what is their biggest concern with the opportunity, or what's the biggest influence on them wanting to call back.
Right.
Okay, so then you want to know, okay, have you ever been involved in a business like this before? Is this something that you're familiar with? Is this all new to you? You're going to find that right now there's a lot of people who are responding to these things that have never done network marketing. Now, I know people think that the industry is saturated. I know they think the market's saturated, but there's a lot of people that have never done it before.
Right.
They don't understand how it works. They don't know the first thing about it. You know, most people, if they have heard something about it, and a lot of times it's something negative because they misunderstand it, or they've been told by someone who was burned. Okay. So find out if they've ever been involved in a home-based business. And if so, what kind of business was it?
Right.
Were they selling, service-oriented services? Were they selling products? Were they selling tech? Were they selling insurance? Were they selling cosmetics? Were they selling, everything that can be sold has been sold at some point in network marketing.
Right.
So find out kind of what their experience was. Okay. The next thing would be to find out what their goals are in starting it. Okay. When you're getting involved in this, people are going to get involved for different reasons. Is your goal getting involved? Is it health related?
Right.
Do you want to get healthier? Do you want to live a better life? Are your goals business oriented? Are you wanting to retire and do this full time? Again, this is all helping you to guide your presentation. Introduce the presentation by what they are most interested in, whether it be the product or the opportunity. Now, I want to point out something real quick. As I was writing these points down, this is what I found amazing about this. And I just did this how I normally would approach someone, and how we train people to normally approach someone. You want to establish a rapport with them first. You want to get your foot in the door, get their guard down and everything, so that they're willing to listen and ask questions and things. But I have roughly 11 points here, and we're already to point number 10, and we have yet to mention the business to them. Yeah. All we basically told them was what business we're affiliated with. We haven't explained anything to them.
Right.
The reason I want to point that out is because I think people think that when you get into a presentation, you have to know everything about the business, and you have to just dump it on them right away.
Right. Yeah.
And really, the majority of this list, the majority of this call is more about you getting to know them.
Right.
And about them getting to know you. We've had training and talked about that, about making it personal, about getting in there and getting to know the people and them getting to know you, because you're really not only selling the opportunity, you're selling yourself to this person.
Right.
Because when people sign up with you, there is a loyalty to you as the business grows, because they trust you with the information. Right. They trust you with this opportunity. So there is a modicum of self-selling that has to go on. And that's why the first 8 or 9 points that we've gotten into so far have been about getting to know them and vice versa, because that's going to establish whether or not the presentation is really accepted. Right. Again, we've talked before that you can have a perfect presentation, technically, every point covered, everything answered, and it can still, at the end of the time, at the end of the call or presentation, they can still be like,
this isn't a good fit for me.
Yeah, it's just not my thing, not for me. And sometimes I've seen people who maybe it wasn't the perfect fit for them, but they got on really well with me, or like you probably have people do that with you, they get on well with you. And so they're willing to give it a try because they take to my personality, or they take to my belief in this, in the system, or in the products, or in the company. Right. So these are things to keep in mind, that there's a lot of self-selling involved in this, not just the product, not just the company, not just the opportunity, not just the pay structure, all that stuff. Actually, in what I'm talking about here, we don't even get into that. because that's something for way down the road.
Right.
You know, you've got to get the person committed to, yes, I want to do this. I want to know more about how I get paid. Now, I find that 90% of the time that never even comes up in the first 2-3 conversations.
Right.
It's all about, how do I build this? You know, who do I talk to? How do I talk to them?
Right.
What products are good? That's what people focus on. Then when they've said, you know, I do want to build this as a business, then they say, so how does it work? How do I get paid? How much do I get paid? How do I, you know? So what I find is that getting into all those numbers, all those percentages is great for someone who understands the industry.
Right.
Because they're going to want to know, how much am I making on my first level? How much on my second level? Where's my first bonus? Where's this come from? People have never done this before. You start spitting that stuff to them, all it does to them is it's like
I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'll never know
It's
that.
like one of those scenes in a movie where someone just kind of drifts off and then you see all these mathematical problems going around. That's what they're going through when you start just dumping that on them. So you want to get people a sense of what we're doing first, and then from there you can build around it, and then they'll understand it better.
And something to remember is, if you are somebody who doesn't know all of those things and you're talking to somebody who is experienced in the industry,
guess what?
Right. You don't have to know the answers to their questions.
Right.
It doesn't show that you're any less trustworthy. It actually, if you try to answer it and you don't know the answer, you turn out to be wrong, that goes against your the trust that they're trying to build with you.
Right.
More so than you just being honest with them and being like, hey, I actually don't know the answer to that question, but then you do this, you sell them on this.
Right.
I have a whole support team that helps to support me and my team. They have so many systems and tools and resources that if I can't find the answer for you for that question that you have, I will personally contact somebody and they will help me find this answer and get that to you within 2 days. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of the points as well, is that you don't have to know all of this.
Right.
You're not expected to know all of this.
No.
You know,
you're never going to.
You're never going to. Yeah. There are people, I've spoken with people, you know, sometimes in these calls, you find someone that's been in the industry, has done it before, been there, done that, made money, seen it, you know, understand it, believe in it. And I've had some of these veterans who've done tremendous things, blown away with some of the stuff that I can answer.
Right.
And to me, I'm thinking, you've been doing this and been successful as years, you would think that whatever company they were involved in, they would be that adept at it. You find more times than not, it's just their personality and the way that they sell it, not so much the information.
Right.
With us, we've always gone the other way, overboard, because there is a lot of companies out there and a lot of marketers out there that build their entire business on hype.
Right.
It's all style over substance. And 4Life is very much a company that depends and builds everything on the science and on the actual solid truth of what's going on. We don't sugarcoat things.
Need hype.
Yeah, we don't hype it. We're not a hype train coming at you. I mean, that's one of the reasons we've been in the industry for so long. And so many people say, well, this is the first time I've really heard of you before. Well, we don't take that as an insult. We take that as like, well, that's because we've been building it right. We're not out there trying to say that people regrew limbs because they used our product, or people regrew hair, or you know, infertile women had kids. I mean, we're not claiming any of these things because none of those things are true. Why would we do that when we have such a great product here?
Exactly.
All we've got to do is rely on the science, stick with it, and it's going to happen.
Right.
And that's exactly the way our company's built. And the trust is a huge issue because people, again, there's a loyalty there that they gain by being associated with you.
Right.
And when they feel they can trust that you're only going to give them the information that you know, and you're not going to make something up.
Right.
You're not going to become a spin doctor and just be able to spin a little bit of truth and then put your own kind of take on it to make it sound good. Then they'll believe you, and they'll be more trusting, and they'll, in the long run, it makes them a better leader for you, because you've built that relationship on both ends through trust. Right. So it's very much a big deal. So again, let me go back to the list here. So we kind of covered this. We talked about whether it's products or opportunity. And the next point was, this is where you have to make a decision if you feel comfortable giving a full presentation or not. once you know what their interest is. And then, as Kate so eloquently put it, that is when the beauty of it is that you don't have to.
Right.
Okay. You have an entire staff of people that can step in your stead and make sure that it gets taken care of. You've got a support team, you've got support tools, you've got systems, you've got websites, I mean, there's so many things that you don't need us for nowadays.
Right.
You know, you and
That's
Lauren and the
goal.
different IT team, that's what we're trying to do, is make where you don't need us as much. We're in an age of technology right now where that's something it's a lot easier to do than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So, and you can also, let's say that you're not quite to that point yet. You're not quite to knowing exactly what system to turn them on to, or, you know, you just get flustered and you don't think, I need to call Shayne, or I need to call Caitlin, or I need to call someone at the office. I need to set up an appointment. Well, you can also simply send them an email with links and say, you know what? I'm glad you want more information. And here's some links to our support systems. Here's some links to our products. Here's some links to our corporate site. Here's some links to our professional networker site. What I generally do is when I send them something, I've seen people send elaborate emails with videos and this and that, and that's all great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. What I'm finding is that more and more people, especially nowadays, everyone wants it quicker. So they don't want to read a really long email, even if it's got full of great information. They want just a little, this is what this is for. This is what this is for. Call me if you have questions.
Right.
So generally my emails are very short. They're about 3 or 4 sentences long. So, hey, it was great talking this afternoon. Thank you for considering our opportunity. Below I put some links. If you have any questions, then respond to this email or give me a call. Otherwise, I will contact you in the next 2 to 3 days to give you a chance to process all these websites and, you know, factor in some questions.
Right.
And then I give them the websites and I label what each one's for. For instance, I will say corporate site, 4life.com, support site, professionalnetworkers.com, support upline, DiamondsR4Life.com, transfer factor under product, transferfactor.com. So these are things that you do that's just short and sweet, you know. Now you can make it more elaborate than that. I just personally like to just kind of get straight to the point with them because I've already explained some of this on the call. I'm just giving them more information.
Right.
And so, but I don't want to bombard them with video link after video link on all these things. Let them decide which ones they want. They give them kind of the outline of what each of these sites are for. So those are things that I think that people need to understand that are simple, straight to the point, and just steps that you go through. Now, what I didn't go any further than that in my list, but what I wanted to do now was give Miss Caitlin an opportunity to share some of the systems and tools we have that make this even easier for people once you plugged into professional networkers. You don't have to have that freak out moment because you have X or Y or Z or whatever. And so since Caitlin is heavily more involved with the tech side of things, and I learned it after the systems are done, she can give you previews of what's up and coming.
Yes.
So,
all right,
take it away.
Okay, so my first thought is if you're wanting to send them an email or a link, even in a text, any sort of delivery
media.
Yeah. If you're wanting to send them somewhere to get information, you could utilize the after party link that we use for our webinars, our opportunity webinars.
Perfect. This is why I wanted to turn it to you at this point, because now I'm like, this is the way I can do it, but these are other ways. Okay.
Yeah.
So after party link.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The after party has information on every aspect of the business, but it's laid out in such a way that is not overwhelming. There's a couple videos. It's very visually appealing. So it's not something that looks like boring. It's something that's eye-catching.
Keeps their attention.
Yeah, it'll keep their attention, but it's also filled with so much value. It even talks about what they will be doing on how to earn money. So this is definitely more of an opportunity focused tool.
Okay.
there's multiple prospecting systems that you can use. We have a lot of them up and coming. We also have a lot of them that you can utilize right now. In the mydiamondsR4Life.com portal, once you create your portal, in that portal, there are so many tools and resources you can use. We have them split in opportunity focused tools and product focused tools. So what you're going to want to do is make a list of the tools that you want to focus on using.
Right.
Split it into two things. Okay, here's my opportunity tools that I really like and that I want to send everybody to at least one of these 3 options. Here's my product focused tool. I want to send somebody to at least one of these 3 options. Know what is in each of these options so you know what you're sending to the person. You know what questions are being answered with this tool.
Right.
I also suggest that you make a list. I know we used to have a script that we are working on updating and putting into a specific category in the portal to help you in following up with your people and prospecting. So we had a script, we're updating it, that shows the category that you'll be talking about. So for instance, if you're talking to someone, you're asking them those questions and you're like, okay, so what interests you in this opportunity? And they say the products. And you're like, well, great. Okay, go to the product section on this. And then you have 5 points, 5 really good points. Like, okay, well, transfer factors are unlike anything else on the market. They're not a vitamin, mineral, herb, or antibody. So you have never taken transfer factors before, and especially our transfer factors, because they're super concentrated. You know, you can add to this over time.
Right.
But that first statement I made is on 4Life's website. Go and grab it from there. You have so many places you can grab things, statements to add to that product area. You have any of the tools that we have in the portal you can pull from. You have the whole 4Life corporate website you can pull from. You have videos you can pull from our YouTube channel and 4Life's YouTube channel. You can pull stuff from their Facebook page, 2 of their Facebook groups. You have so many areas that you can pull information from on the product, opportunity, the company, awards that have been given, credibility that we have. We have videos on credibility. We have videos on studies that have been done on transfer factors. So your job is to prepare yourself, because if you're failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. So make your list, have a column for products, company, awards, opportunity, compensation. You know, fill out those categories with a couple of points. So before you call, and when you're asking them those questions, you have a couple of, power statements that you can make sure to make. And then at the end of the call, if they're like, yeah, I want more information, if you feel like you can give more information, give it. If you don't feel like you can confidently give the right information, then send them, like Shayne was saying, to a medium that will answer that question for you. Because like we've said on other trainings, and this is what I was trying to say earlier about DiamondsR4Life, that the goal is that you guys don't have to contact us. The reason being, and the reason that you don't want your people to always have to contact you, is because that fosters duplication. When you position yourself as the knower of all, then everybody's going to want to come to you on your team. And that does not leave much time for you to be able to be proactive and not reactive. You're going to be always reacting and not being able to be proactive and taking what you have and growing that. So prepare before you start, take your deep breath, have your list in front of you, be prepared, and you will not fail. We always say you will never truly fail if you are trying. So try.
Continue just to keep getting up and keep going at it again. And all of these things, they all fall into what we talked about, but it's all a matter of preparation, and preparation more than anything starts between these 2 ears. That's the biggest thing in this type of marketing. Because let's face it, you are the business. You are the CEO, you are the president, you are the custodian, you are the guy on the line, you're the guy on the phone, your customer support. You are the business in this situation. So what you have to do is be able to understand that all of these responsibilities are going to be something
On
that you
you.
have to take
Yeah.
on. So the more that you can find ways to make yourself available for further growth and for more interaction with more people, the better.
Right.
And that's why we say, come to us. Again, as I stated earlier, you don't have to be able to answer all the questions I answered.
Right.
You don't have to know everything I know, because that's not your job.
Right.
Your job is to get out there and take transfer factor and take this opportunity and get it out there and build your business.
Right.
It's not about trying to become an encyclopedia.
Right.
That's not your job. That was my job in training, so that I can help you do your job of getting out there and building your own business.
Well, and you only knew about all of that stuff because you've done exactly the things that we're talking
Right.
about.
I
You
started
have to
right
do
where you
all
guys
of
are
this.
at.
Yeah. Taking that breath,
Mhm.
preparing yourself before you call,
Right.
making that first call. You had to
Yeah.
do all of that. The only reason that you know all the answers to all the questions that anybody could probably ever ask about
Oh, there's a
for
few I
life,
can't.
you know, is because you've been doing it
Yeah.
for as long as the company has been around.
Literally. Yeah.
So of course you're going to be a seasoned ninja level expert over here. You know, I mean, even aspiring to be as knowledgeable
Mhm.
in all those areas is not your goal. Like you
No.
are saying, that is not
It's
your
not.
goal. Because if you have that goal, then you're going to make your team member feel like they have to have that goal as well.
Right.
And if they,
that's
right,
counterproductive.
if they feel like they can't achieve that level of knowledge,
Mhm.
they're never going to be able to foster that feeling inside of them that they can do this. And that's
Right.
probably what's holding you back. That very feeling of feeling like, well, I need to know all the things of all the things. You do not. Everybody started at the beginning. Do you feel like everybody, when they enrolled into 4Life, that they knew everything? Because Rafaela was a maid.
Right.
She wasn't even signed up into 4Life, and she was moving product.
Right.
And she didn't even realize it.
Right. Yeah.
She didn't know anything except for this worked for me.
It was the excitement of the product working.
Exactly.
It was the excitement of seeing something, found something that really helped her out, changed her life, and she couldn't help but share it.
Right.
We've talked about this. This is something we talk about in training a lot. And I don't know that I've talked about it on this particular forum, which shame on me for not getting this sooner. But the thing about this is that when you find something that excites you, when you find something you're passionate about, when you find something that truly works, you're going to tell people about it anyway.
Right.
How many times have you gone to a restaurant, a new restaurant, and your friends, no one's gone there yet, but everyone's kind of curious. You go ahead and take the plunge. You become the sacrificial lamb. You're the first one to go, and then you find this dish that they have that just, oh my goodness, it's the best. And so what do? You tell your friends, hey, you know that restaurant that you guys were wanting to go? I went to tonight. You've got to go and you've got to try this dish.
Yes.
Okay. You have just referral marketed someone to a company. Now, here's the difference. That restaurant's not going to pay you for it.
Right.
That restaurant's not going to give you a free meal next time. In network marketing, when you feel passionate and you see a product work, just like Rafaela, she just wanted to tell people about it. She wasn't even signed up yet. And she was telling people about this great product that helped her. And she was moving product without even an ID number. So, you know, it's just a matter of getting out there. And as far as having to know everything about things, how many of you know every single circuit, fuse, working part of your car, yet you know how to turn a key?
Right.
You get in that car every day. It takes you everywhere you need to go. You don't get in there and worry about having to know every part of the engine. What do you get in there and worry about? Just knowing that it's going to drive and how to drive it, how to get from one point to the other. That's your business.
Right.
You don't need to worry about all the inner workings. Just know how to get it from this point to that point. Let us be the mechanics. Let us be the guys who have all the testing tools and can find out and troubleshoot. Let us be those people. All you need to do, we've given you the key. All you've got to do, crank the ignition and go. That's it.
Boom. That was a good analogy.
Yeah, I just thought of that. Never used that one before.
Yay. That's
drop.
a good, I know, I was going to say we totally are ending this on a mic drop.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
So for anyone out there, don't freak out. Don't lose your cool. Don't think that, oh my God, now that I've got people in front of me, I feel stupid because I don't even know where to begin.
Right.
It's so simple. The
Take
main
a breath,
thing is take a breath,
make the
prepare,
call.
make the call.
Send them to something that will sell them on the.
Yeah, all those steps I had can be summed up in those 4 things she just said. You know, but again, the biggest battle is just making that first call, and it's right here. These 2 ears, the 6 inches, that's where your biggest battle is. So you overcome that. You know, just be confident. Just go in there with confidence. Go in there and say, you know what, I got this.
You got
And
this.
You got this. And Studis, you know what I mean?
Studis.
Scoden. Yeah. So, but thank you guys so much for being on here tonight. This went longer than we thought, as ours always do. Let's be honest.
Oh, this is going to be a foundational step in the university.
Yeah.
So don't you worry.
Yeah. Ours always, we always say, oh, it's a short one tonight. And we know each other too well. We know
this is such good
cues.
Information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but this is information you need to know. And having my experience and having her level of knowing what's in the works is just a perfect combination for you guys. So please like these videos, save these videos, watch them over again, write down questions. Always contact us if you have anything that you want to know or any comments or whatever. We appreciate you guys being out there listening. We appreciate you guys always taking time in your evening to come on here. And until next time.
I have a question, actually.
Oh.
How confident are you that if somebody followed these steps, that they would be able to?
Well, Caitlin, let me tell you a little story. No, I'm just kidding.
It all started back in the
yeah, back in the day. No, these steps are foundational. Okay, there may be other steps you have to take, but if you don't take these, you're not going to be successful. You have to have these to get started.
Love that.
100%. Now, again, that doesn't mean these are the only ones, but if you're not at least doing these, yeah, you're not going to get off the ground. Just like you girls say all the time. Right. The least thing you have to do this to get started. You know, these these steps are just, you know.
Because I feel pretty like if someone did this.
Right. Oh, 100%. 100%.
You're golden.
Yeah.
On your cold calling or even just any sort of marketing.
Right.
Any marketing.
Exactly. And that's why we call this prospect training, because we're teaching you some of this stuff, like I said, is going to feel like kindergarten stuff, but that's okay. You have to go back to the basics sometimes.
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics. We get all caught up in the style over the substance when really, if you don't stick to the basics and get that foundation built, you're not going to get anywhere. So, you know, so thank you very much for all your love, your support, for being on here, spending the evening with us two goofballs. And we appreciate it. But until next time, as always, it's Frankie Shayne and Katie Lane, and we are out.